Good afternoon. This is the Institute of Christian and Masonic Studies. This is Reverend Leroy Stewart. I am the founder and president. The CEO is my son. As I've introduced to you before, he is behind the camera. He will furnish the information how to contact the Institute for sermons, lectures, private tutoring, etc. What I wanted to talk to you today, brethren, is that question: who owns Masonry? You know, I got a lot of response here at the Institute from that particular question, from that shoot. Now, I'm going to answer that question for you today, because did you know in all the time that it's been out there, I think it's over a month now or so, I've never got an answer. I got everything but an answer. And the answer is very, very simple, and you know it, but a lot of brothers couldn't answer it because they're not really Masons. They want to be Masons. They got caught up on the organizational side of it, and they got stuck there. So they think that Masonry is to run a building, or Masonry is to build an organization, but we won't go into that. We're just going to answer that question for you this morning. Now, I got a bone to pick with every 33rd degree Mason in the world. Because if you were doing your job, I was really waiting on the first 33rd degree Mason to shoot me a text, give me a call, or whatever you want to call it here at the Institute, and give me an answer. But I never got one. I got everything else. I got me a nickname, which I want to keep for myself now, snake oil salesman. I mean, call a hell of a lot of things in my lifetime, but a snake oil salesman, boy, I tell you, I like that. So, having said that, I'm going to give you a little snake oil today. A fresh batch I just brewed up. Let me tell you about that question. I asked a simple question. It was so simple it was complex. But it's what we call, I call a question that convicts. You couldn't answer that question. Nobody could answer that question, because if you answered that question like domino, you had to ask yourself another question. And if you ask yourself that other question, it's going to take you right straight to 1717, where our white brothers, bless their little heart, did wrong. Now, for those of you who are listening to me, let me answer that question right up front. Who owns Masonry? God, G-O-O-D, owns Masonry, the supreme architect of the universe. Masonry is his. It is his exclusively. He has the patent. He owns it, or whatever you want to call it. To be made a Mason, unfortunately, I found in all dialogue that you got men that think that when they take the Masonic obligation, they're obligating themselves to a lodge, or they're taking obligations to a grand lodge, or in some cases they take obligations to the worshipful master. When a man is made a Mason, his obligation is given to God. He enters into a contract with God himself. All of the brothers that stand around during, as particularly the first degree initiation, they are there as witnesses. So that when that morning comes, when we do stand before the judgment seat of the supreme architect of the universe, and Lord, please tell me that you believe in the three pillars of Freemasonry: the brotherhood of all men, the fatherhood of one God, brotherhood of all men, and the resurrection after death. Now, if you don't believe that anyway, this don't make no sense to you no how. But the reason brothers are there at your initiation, the reason it has to be conducted a certain way with those witnesses, is so that when you stand before God, as you will, in passing from Boaz to Joachim, what you call death, God expects you to be able to answer for what you did in taking that vow. That's why any good worshipful master in making Masons will always keep saying, is it of your own free will and accord? Is it of your own free will and accord? Is it of your own free will and accord? Nobody in that room is going to take any responsibility for the fact that you came up, you petitioned the lodge, you sought out the brothers, and you asked to be made a Mason. You didn't have to do that. But when you did it, you took obligation to G-O-D, the supreme architect of the universe. So now you say, Brother Stu, why didn't nobody just say God? I'm going to tell you why didn't nobody just say God. Y'all ready for that? I got some fresh snake oil. That's for that one guy who shot me down pretty good. Well, I'll tell you, I got to tell you, brother, that makes me laugh every time I think about it. Now, me, call a snake over silver. I don't know why. The reason that they could not answer the question is because if you tell me or had sent back the answer to my institute and said, God owns Masonry, you know what I was going to say, don't you? I was going to ask you then, why in the hell you running around here fighting with each other, 3 levels, 4 levels, 5 levels, and all this here craziness. What are you doing it for? Who has the right to say this man's a Mason and that man is not a Mason? Simply because he ain't got so many letters or alphabets behind his name as a Mason. A Mason is a Mason is a Mason is a Mason. That jurisdiction mess, did you know it didn't even exist before 1717. I hope I got some of my white brothers out there. Don't get mad at me now, but this is what your granddaddy and great-granddaddy did. I didn't do it, they did it. Kind of like they did in slavery. You know what I'm talking about? I know you do. I don't care nothing about you telling me you're a 4-letter Mason. I don't care nothing about you telling me you're a 3-letter Mason. I want to know is, did you take the same obligation that I took? If you did, that makes us brothers. You understand? And is that clear for everybody? So you couldn't answer the question, excuse me, you couldn't answer the question because the next question was automatic. Then why you run around and tell this brother over here in Ireland that he can't be a Mason because he ain't swore to your grand lines? Why you over here telling this boy in the south side of Chicago or over there in Watts? Why you trying to tell this man that he ain't a Mason because he ain't got the same alphabets behind his name that you got? Now, you know I'm going to have to talk to you black boys. Now, you know I'm going to have to get you colored Masons. About that, you heard that word in a long time, ain't you? But they're going to be calling you colored again pretty soon. Somebody shooting your children down like dogs. You ain't doing nothing about it. You don't care about it. You don't care about nothing about that. I had to throw that in there. That's for my snake oil guy, so he can give him something to talk about. Like that guy. But at any rate, if you had answered that question honestly and said, God, then you got to look in the mirror. You got to ask yourself, why is the Prince Hall Mason saying that you ain't a Mason unless you Prince Hall? Do they pray to some God? Did they take their obligation to some God that I don't know? Or did they take their obligation to the same supreme architect that I took mine to? Think about it, brothers, kind of deep in it. That's why, yeah, I already knew the answer, but I wanted to see who had the balls to get their ass up and answer that question. I was going to invite you to the Institute, and we was going to have a little interview so that we could get this word out here so that all y'all quit acting fool. Talking about jurisdiction, 3-letter, 4-letter, Prince Hall, John G. Jones, I'll get y'all too. It don't mean nothing, boy. A Mason is a Mason is a Mason. And if you took the same obligation that I took as an apprentice, same one I took as a fellow craft, and the same raising ceremony I went through an obligation as a master Mason, how you gonna tell me I'm clandestine? How you gonna tell me I'm irregular? Come on, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Tell me. You want to comment? Want to call in on that one? Call in. Fellas, what your problem is, all across the board, is that you've got another question that you don't want to answer, and they taught it to you in the second degree. How many kinds of masonry is there, out there? It's 2. Well, the problem is that y'all been got caught up on the organizational side, got stuck there. You think that being a Mason means you got to have some kind of paper in your pocket showing that you paid your dues. No. I need something written on your heart showing that you obeying God. And if you're doing that, you're a Mason. I don't have to belong to Prince Hall. I don't have to belong to the International Brothers. I don't have to belong to John G. Jones. I don't have to belong to nobody. I belong to God. Because that's what I took my obligation to as a Mason. The real brotherhood of Masons ain't got nothing to do with Grand Lodge meetings. It ain't got nothing to do with Grand Master. There's one Grand Master, and his name is God, the supreme architect of the universe. Fellas, the reason that you're not prospering in your life as a Mason, the reason that you ain't seeing the thing that the old Masons saw, the reason you ain't got the respect that the old Mason got is because you want to swear your allegiance to Prince Hall. You want to swear your allegiance to John G. Jones. You want to swear your allegiance to the white boys over there in the Grand Lodge of England, the Grand Lodge of Ireland, the Grand Lodge of Scotland. And incidentally, they forgot all about Africa, China, Russia, Poland. They forgot everything when they were drawing up that 1717. And you got people today, and I'm going to tell you right now, you got people today think they're running lodges, they're running clubs, they're running associations, etc. But they're not. They're not building the house of Masonry. That's why we're so far and in between. Now, I'm going to tell you one more thing while I got you going here. While you busy telling John over there he ain't a Mason, he clandestine because he ain't Prince Hall, and you're telling Larry over here he ain't a Mason because he ain't international, or he ain't John G. Jones, you know what? You got some other folk, and I'm going to try to say this politically correct, okay? You got some other folks, let us say, of another mind persuasion. They taking the Mason going out and doing anything wrong. Now see, I got to be careful how I say this, because, you know, I got some folk out there that get mad at good old preacher here, good brother that I am, if I say this the wrong way. You got women out there opening Grand Lodges. Somewhere in the obligation it says that a woman can't be made a Mason, or do we throw that out too? Oh, your jurisdiction, that's okay. I said, the reason that you couldn't answer the question is because you know you ain't got no reason ever to stop a Mason from coming to your lodge. If that man can prove himself at your door through oral examination, or if he showed you his traveling card, dues paid, and all that good stuff for the organization of part of you, ain't no way in the world you don't let that man in your lodge. But I know lodges right now today, and I ain't talking about white lodges. I know black lodges where certain black Masons can't go into another black Mason lodge. Now you tell me what that's about. That's why you couldn't answer the question. I had some very interesting replies. People responding to my question, some comical, some mean-spirited, but all I wanted to hear was somebody say, God. Nobody had the balls to do that. Now, this is going to be a very short message because I had shot a message earlier for our Christian women. So now, I'm going to close this message by talking to them goddamn 33rd degree, 7 Grand Inspector Generals all the way from Alaska to Sydney, Australia. Where you at? Why aren't you out there putting down this mess that was created in 1717? Why haven't you straightened that out? Why didn't one of y'all get on here and call me up and say, reverend, brother, preacher, whatever, God owns it. Where are you at, 33rd degree inspectors? Why aren't you inspecting? This matter should have been cleared up in 1813 when the white boys came to their sense, Ireland, Scotland, and England, and they threw that mess behind them in the reunification of 1813. Black folks over here still running around, won't visit each other's lodge, won't participate in each other's charitable endeavors, etc. With that, I ain't got no problem with that. That's your house, you got a right when you want up in there. But unfortunately, when you claim to be a Mason, that's my thing too. That's mine. That compass square G, that's mine, just like it's yours. You ain't got no right to tell me I can't wear my compass square G, because I don't pay dues to your Grand Master or your Grand Lodge. Don't do that no more, folks. Like I said, you got other people sneaking in the back door. You got rap stars out there tearing Masonry down, making money off it like a big dog. You got my gay and lesbian people, friends, but they married me. Did you know they're even going now by opening their own lodge? But now here you is arguing among yourselves, among legitimate brothers, about who irregular, who clandestine. We got some folks according to our own law, yours and mine, that say these people cannot be Masons. But you ain't doing nothing about that, are you? Why? Why aren't you doing something about it? Inspectors. I don't think Inspector General. Or you just too busy getting together once a year, incorporating Eastern Stallion up under you, and just going crazy with this organizational mess like most brothers I know. Most of you that's running around, you're not wearing them beautiful crowns and them $300-400 necklaces at 33rd degree. You wouldn't know a 33rd degree Mason if he was talking to you. God damn it, because I'm talking to you. I'm telling you what you're supposed to know. And you're supposed to be out there correcting, inspecting, and teaching pure ancient craft masonry. You know that, don't you? But that's why you couldn't answer the question. You know why? Because you're not doing that. You hiding in the fraternity of ignorance. You run around and get together all in South America, wherever it is the year you want to have one at, and everybody got on their coats and little monkey caps, I call them. I don't particularly care for that myself. As you see, I like something a little bit more urbane. However, folks, you got to stop. Inspectors, do your job. Get out there and let's get together here. Let's get this. Tear down these, Harry Reagan said about Germany, Mr. Google tear down this wall. Well, I'm saying Inspector General's tearing all these walls. You get these brothers to talking. How can we do that, you say? I'm going to tell you how you can do it. You're on Facebook, you're on the internet, you're on everywhere else telling folks what they can't be. Why don't you get out there and say, oh, all these doors are open to any brother who can pass inspection or has an updated dues card. Do it. I'll tell you, I challenge you to do it. And you're going to learn something. Break bread together. Visit each other's lodges. I think Mr. Mackey, that's everybody's Bible, ain't that right? Everybody want to read that, what he put in a book and call it Masonic law. That's why all people run around won't ever talk law. You need to go back and see who wrote that law that you talk about. White boys wrote that law in 1717. Didn't nobody in the world have nothing to do with that shit before they did that. And you run around there carrying these books telling me what a Grand Lodge is, what a Grand Lodge is. Hell, there wasn't no Grand Lodge for 1717. All Masons used to meet, and the oldest Mason there took the chair. The office of Grand Master is not permanent. The office of Grand Master only comes into being when the brothers assemble, and that's supposed to be once a year. You want to talk to me about this? You want to give me some comment on this? I hope you're 33rd degree. No offense, y'all. But I need to hear some inspectors talk to me. Or are you too busy making reservations for your next conclave, or your next get together? Are you too busy making sure it's in warm weather somewhere where y'all can partake? I want to know from some Inspector Generals where you been. I want to know why ain't you doing what I'm doing. I want to know why ain't you going out here knocking on the door of some of these lodges explaining why Prince Howard was bowling there and he can't even go to his own lodge if he came back today. What? You mean to tell me some of y'all out there in the Prince Hall family of Masons didn't know that Prince Hall was a pole Mason? Well, I'll be damned. How about that? And no sense talking how about too much today then, is it? Well, that's right. Y'all sure to y'all believe that Masonry starts and begins with Prince Hall. Begins and ends there. I ain't let you John T. John boys off. I understand y'all run around now trying to form some kind of amalgamation grand lodges forward to the John G. John thought bank. You're wrong. Both of you wrong. And I'll tell you, I'm scared. Because I am the Sovereign Grand Inspectors General, 33rd degree Freemason. How about that? I'm challenging. Get it together, inspectors. Get it together before Masonry dies. And you know what I'm talking about if you're 33rd. Now, that's all I had to say today, folks. As I told you, I had an earlier shoot sermon. And we're going to have that up and running on Christmas Day. So, when you look at this one on Masonry, when you get to cussing me out as Mason, because I told you God on Masonry, I want you to stick around and hear my sermon on black killing, the solution. Once again, this is Reverend Brother Leroy, Stewart, Institute of Christian and Masonic Studies, and I had a ball, better known as Sniper salesman. Bye now.